Months after Apple agreed to comply with the EU's law to use USB-C chargers, the tech giant could be in the position to make another major change, this time to its App Store. Yahoo Finance tech reporter Dan Howley here with the details. Dan, what does Apple have to change now?
Yeah, this has to do with the Digital Markets Act in the European Union, and it'll essentially require Apple to, by 2024, allow for the installation of third-party app stores on users' iPhone and iPads. And that means that you won't have to continue to access apps only through Apple's App Store. You'll be able to use these third-party app stores to download specific apps. And this is something that the company now, according to Bloomberg, is actively working on. They have huge teams ensuring that Apple is within compliance of this law. And so, this is going to be a big shakeup for the company. They draw in billions of dollars in revenue through the kind of the 30% cut that they take for sales made through the App Store. So, there's a chance that we'll see a significant cut into that. But there's also the idea that people are loyal to Apple. People know the App Store, and maybe that they just won't want to use a third-party App Store for fear of, potentially downloading malware. That's been basically Apple's main go-to, is that, they curate the App Store, they ensure that apps in there are clean, that there's no malware or spear phishing apps in there, and so you can trust them, and that's why they charge that 30% fee. It remains to be seen how Apple's going to position this, though, when it does eventually come out, whether they'll provide a warning or something along those lines as to user privacy. That's really been its go-to. So I don't think it's beyond Apple to push something like that forward. And it's something that Google does as well. If you try to download a third-party app store, a third-party app from outside the Play Store, they'll give you a warning that's similar to that.
Dan, I know a lot of it remains unknown, but you mentioned that 30% in-app purchase fee. Any idea just how significantly this could potentially impact Apple's revenue?
Yeah, I mean, the European market is Apple's second largest behind the U.S., so it could be a big deal for them. It's still unclear as to whether or not Apple would charge a fee for vetting apps from these third-party app stores to appear on users' iPhones. There's the idea that is that still gatekeeping? Is it not? That's really what this discussion is all about. And what this law is about is gatekeeping, Apple keeping third-party apps out that it doesn't like. So I think that's still part of the discussion and something that's going to be worked out before this really goes into effect and needs to be implemented. But this is a massive change for Apple in the EU specifically. Whether or not we'll see the same change roll over to the U.S., I think that really is still up in the air. They haven't said anything here as far as being forced to change. So maybe it's just something that goes on in the EU.
All right, we shall see. Dan Howley, good to see you. Thanks so much.